Yeah.
All right. I think that we are now live over here. So welcome, guys.
Hey.
Hello and welcome over here to the 8th edition of Magic and March Thursday. I'm your host, Scott Wells from the Magic Word Podcast. And today I've got with me some very interesting guests. Please welcome right down here, all the way from Dallas, someone who is not only the person who runs the Peacock Theater in a part-time, but also has got a little video thing that he does kind of on the side net as well. Main thing is, of course, taking care of Genie Magazine as being the proprietor of that. He was a long-time member of the Magic Castle since he was a youth. You can go back and listen to our podcast about this, because I think what's also interesting is that he is the great nephew of Richard Pitchford, who was Cardini. And so please welcome Randy Pitchford. Hey, Randy.
Hi. Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
Good to see you
glad
again,
to have
Scott.
you.
Cheers. Thanks for
you as well.
Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for thinking of us.
So glad that you could be available to make it here. And then also from Las Vegas, I've got over here then Nick Diffatte, who is, if you haven't seen him at some conventions over the past, then you really missed out. He's got some great lecture notes, which I would highly recommend, called Funny. Right there, we might talk about that while we're here then as well. And he is a funny guy, despite his years, young years of age. It's always good to have some young people on there. Someone's got a gray beard and someone who doesn't shave yet. So welcome, Nick. Thank you very much for joining us too.
Having me. Yeah.
And then the international traveler, the fellow that always packs a couple extra legs when he goes not only just across town, but overseas. And he is someone who is the coolest magician on earth and has got perhaps one of the best lectures out there. You know, I've heard it said that his lecture on how to become a world famous magician is like in the top 10 lectures. It really is awesome. And please welcome my buddy also all the way from Las Vegas over there. Please welcome Rudy Coby. Hey, Rudy.
Hey. Hey. Scott Wells,
you're there.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. So first of all, what's everybody drinking here tonight? That I've got a little vodka martini. You look like you got a beer or something there. Got a long neck from.
I actually have. I thought I made a cute little non-alcoholic little martini with ice cream, but I found out we had to do alcohol, so I did this. I don't know what it is, but I took it out from the. I think it's good though. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. See what happens. This could be interesting.
Yeah.
And Nick, I know you're old enough to drink. What have you got?
I got chocolate milk. Just whipped this up a couple minutes ago. It's pretty warm. It's about 100 degrees out. So this is going to hopefully not curdle by the end, but here.
Yeah. Drink that quickly. And Randy, over there.
Yeah, so I actually, I've never tasted alcohol in my life, but I do have a martini glass.
Perfect. And pour some Perrier.
We're gonna make a Perrier martini, which is 1 part Perrier and 3 olives.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Now you're cooking. Cheers, everybody. Thank you for being here. It's great.
That is warm.
Warm chocolate milk, huh?
Ooh,
well, don't go to sleep on us. Typically, you have that before bedtime, I guess.
Right. With the extra sugar content.
Olive-y water. I'm down for this. This is a new.
Yeah, it sounds great. Probably haven't tried that before. A little olive juice extra, you know, with the water over there. Well, listen, I'm glad you guys happen to be here. And Randy, I mentioned the Peacock Theater, which I see that's kind of in the background that you got over there. When you and I had talked on the podcast
really
some time ago,
it almost looks real, right?
It does look like. I mean, it does look. I thought that you had photoshopped or put that as your background.
It's my Zoom background.
Your Zoom background. When we were talking about
it's even
that,
3D, like you can whoa, I can rotate the camera, and it's, you know, in the tech business, we can really make convincing backgrounds. So
wow.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Scott. I talked over you.
It does look pretty cool. No. I was about to say that when we had talked before that you were in the process really of putting that together. As I recall, I thought you said your wife was going to have like a coffee shop or something.
Oh, that's right.
As well.
Yeah.
Did she kind of get that going as well?
Yeah, well, not a great time to have we were talking, I mentioned earlier how I've never tasted alcohol in my life. Well, my wife owns a bar. So she owns a bar. I also don't drink coffee. I've never drank coffee. She owns a coffee shop and a restaurant. And yeah, all three have kind of been dealing with the pandemic. But yeah, that's all going, and was really going strong before the pandemic hit. Of course, like every public facing business had to shut down for a while, and they're just trying to figure out how to safely ease into it. She's navigating that in real time.
Yeah. Nerdvana in Frisco.
Right.
That's
now,
right.
as far as the theater goes, is
Frisco.
that Nirvana? Is that open to the public? Do they sell tickets, or how do people find out about the shows, or how is that?
Look up Nerdvana. It's a bar restaurant. There's a bar, there's a restaurant, there's a coffee shop. Anyone could go. Obviously, if you go now, they're only doing limited seating, and everyone's wearing masks. But it's awesome. It's actually really well suited to be safe in this environment, because the high concept of Nerdvana is that it's a video game themed bar and restaurant, and so they have all these pods that are really private booths basically, and every booth has a video game system, so you can get your dinner and play video games at the same time at the restaurant, and it's super fun and super cool.
Wow. Were you involved with any of that and getting them put in the booths of video games?
Well, there was a few things I helped out on. She and her team had it all and figured it out. But I did design and create an art installation for them that's pretty cool. And I also created one of the desserts,
which is very good.
At first they were. They said
desserts.
The dessert's cool.
As well,
the original
everything
idea.
else?
They when they came to me and said, "Hey, it's time to make desserts. You got any ideas?" Because I'd helped out with a couple of the other things on the menu. I didn't create any other menus, but I was just being helpful where I could. And they said, "Hey, you want to come up with a dessert?" And I said, "Sorry, I can't help you. Everyone knows that the best dessert are s'mores, and you can't do s'mores in a restaurant." And then I slept on it, and I came up with a way to do s'mores in a restaurant.
Yes.
Awesome.
No, and I think he was asking about the Peacock Theater, if that's private or.
I thought he was asking about Christie's restaurant.
He was asking about both, but
let's talk to all these magicians about a video game restaurant. That sounds like really on topic. The Peacock is behind me. We've been obviously we're on a hiatus right now during the pandemic, but up until the pandemic, I think we hit our 75th show right before the pandemic. And we run live variety and magic 2 or 3 times a month, and it's been amazing. It's been a fun ride. I've had some of the greatest performers in the world on this stage behind me, and what's cool is it's a really safe place. So a lot of folks come and they'll try stuff or let themselves be a little more adventurous than they would with a paying client or with a public audience. And we've had some pretty awesome things happening on stage.
Yeah, and Randy is being very humble, but
I know that you've
Penn and Teller and Pip the Magic Dragon, Nick Diffatte. I mean, yes, but Moby and other fantastic acts. No, he's had the greatest acts in the world go to the Peacock Theater, because we can do our normal acts, but we can also because it's a curated audience that loves variety. We can also experiment and do things like what we did in the beginning of our career. So it's fantastic that way.
Right.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
So Rudy, you performed there then as well, you said?
Yes, I actually, I kind of live in the Peacock Theater the past 4 years. Yeah. No, it's my favorite place in the world. There's actually going to be a big documentary that's coming out, and at some point, I think that trailer might be online for the Peacock Theater.
It is. Jeremy Sneed, a director, is making a film about it, and I met him when he was working on a documentary called "Video Games: The Movie," and he shot me for that. and he ended up coming to the Peacock, and he just fell in love with it one night, and he came over and over again, and then he said, "Hey, I'm gonna make a documentary about this." And I'm like, "Okay, you know, it's free world, do whatever you want." And then before I even knew about that, he started doing all these interviews with people that had performed at the Peacock, and he went to Vegas and interviewed a bunch of people there, and he went to Los Angeles. And I wasn't even there. I didn't even know that was happening. But there's a trailer. If you do a Google search, a video search for the Peacock Theater documentary and Jeremy Sneed, Snead, it should come up. I think Peacock Theater documentary should be enough.
We'll give you a link.
There's a trailer that's only a couple minutes long, but it's got some people that you know in it, and it's got an interesting thesis because it's presenting a case for variety, you know, and talking about how variety has been under siege since the death of vaudeville, and a few of us, there's some of us out there that are creating vehicles for it to come back, and the Peacock's one of them, and we are learning a lot, and we're having a blast, and our audiences cannot get enough. Yeah. It's being proven every showtime at the Peacock. It's being proven every night.
Well, as I was saying, for people who want to attend, is that open though to the public, or do they get tickets? They go online, or how?
No, it's a very tight curated audience. The best way to get invited to the Peacock is to figure out how to become friends with Christy. Frankly.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
If Christy likes you, you're in.
Yeah. Or if you're one of the best acts in the world, if you have an incredible world-class act, you have a good possibility of getting invited here. And that's amazing, is that, you know, the funnest thing that's happened in the last couple of years is because Randy and Christy let acts that they trust curate, you know, like sort of put shows together. So, you know, we get to bring the best of the best of the best down here, you know. I mean, it's the people, it's like working the Magic Castle, you know, 30 years ago, the way it used to be a real clubhouse. And that's the sort of the spirit here.
Yeah, it's almost like the opposite of a lot of venues. A lot of venues, they'll let anyone in the audience that can pay for a ticket, but they're really tight and want to almost like a Gestapo-like attitude on booking. Whereas with the Peacock, what we'll do is we'll let performers that we love and trust, just you make the show, book whoever you think would be fun, and then we're crazy vigilant about who we allow in as an audience. We're only going to let the best possible audiences in, because what we're doing is we're really cultivating a scene for variety arts here, and we want this is sort of ground zero for what will later be a larger play. And we want the people that are part of it today to be those people that are going to be part of the vanguard and the evangelists of the future wider steps that we hope to do with what.
Well, does the audience also, the people who are invited who get to sit in the audience, interact later with the acts and say, I like this or didn't like this, you can tighten up this so you get some good feedback? Rudy and Nick, you're both nodding your head yes.
Look, we don't stop those kinds of interactions, but that's not really what it's about. The talent that comes here tends to know what they're doing, and the audience tends to be grateful. They tend to be grateful for the experiences they have, and it does kind of take on a sort of party atmosphere. It's not uncommon after the show where 3 hours later, that the place is still full of people all mingling and having a great time.
Yeah. It's like the early version of the Magic Castle, which felt like more of a clubhouse and doing it for love.
One of the things, by the way, I just wanted to mention, because a few online. Yep. Sorry.
Nope.
I was just saying that there are a few people who have made a few comments online. Dave Elliott said, I've seen 3 of these guys on posters at the post office. Susan Lewin says,
I love Dave Elliott.
Susan Lewin
hi, Dave.
Says hi. Hi, Dave.
Love you, man.
Magic Jake says hi, Rudy. How are you, my friend? Gene Porter says hi, Scott. Ryan Plunkett says howdy. Says a little bit more, actually. Your buddy there, Nick, from Chicago. And Dave Elliott says one of the best places, the Peacock Theater. Jerry Costello says, "Hi guys, great to see you from Colton, Michigan." Glenn Mackin, hello Rudy.
Hey.
Elliot Hitchcock.
Work.
Why the name Peacock? That's a good idea. Yeah, Elliot says, Hitchcock wonders, why is it called the Peacock Theater?
Well, there's a real story and there's a bullshit story.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear
You
them
need to
both.
be here to hear that story.
Yeah.
The bullshit story, we have a ghost. We tell a story about how in the early days of Texas development, when the robber barons were building the trains out to the Old West, there was a town that was set up here to try to sell investors on the idea of creating a train that went all the way to the West Coast. And they built a little town, including a post office, and they had a water tower and a train station, and they had a saloon. And on the second floor, of course, was a house of ill repute. And the madam that lived there was Madam Peacock. And later, when they cleaned up the town and they ran all the prostitutes away, she refused to give up her house. She died there in the corner apartment, and the legend says that she haunted the place. And this house is built on the same property, on the same physical space. So we share the same physical space as that. And Madam Peacock has come to rehaunt our place. That's the kind of fun story. And we have a whole, Carrie Pollock built the largest enchanted bottle he's ever made in the bar next to the Peacock. So the bottle floats, and there's some other fun things we do. The real story, if the truth might be of interest to the magicians that are in on this, when we had erected, we just had the frame up. So that the place was just the sticks, just the framework. And I didn't have a green room. And my plan for the backstage was to create like a trap and a ladder that would go down to the garage. And because I wanted the two side walls had windows that you can see out to the outside area. And I wanted it to feel kind of magical, like there was this impossible backstage area, even though from the outside you can't see it, where the performers could just come and anything could appear on stage. And my secret there was to bring everything up from the garage that was underneath the theater. My friend Michael Carbonaro came into town and we walked through it, and he's like, "This sucks, Randy. This is gonna be terrible. Let me fix it for you." And he came up with this brilliant idea so that instead of asking our performers to come up and down the stairs, we could do a runaround without disrupting the illusion that the walls of the theater are the outer walls of the whole structure. And the way he did it, the idea he came up with was to use stained glass to hide the idea of the corridor, because stained glass feels like you can see through it. In fact, I'm going to rotate the camera and you can see some of the stained glass there. So it feels like you can see and you can see the light coming in from the outside. And when you pull up from the outside, no matter which angle you're coming at, you see the stained glass windows. And so you feel like, okay, those are the outer walls. But in fact, behind that stained glass window, there is a 3-foot corridor, and that's the runaround that goes to the green room and to the other areas that allow.
And then another stained glass on the other side of the corridor. So when you're looking from the outside, you think you're seeing, there are two separate stained glasses.
That's right. It's the same stained glass. You see it from both sides. It's a brilliant idea. And we, after it worked, we went to the plan. I got the architect in. We planned it all out, and we built it that way. So I said, "Hey, Michael, you get to name the corridor now. It's this is your idea. This is your design." And he says, "Well, we got to name it the Carbador." So. The Michael Carbonaro's touch on the Peacock Theater is the Carbador. So every performer who's ever been on the Peacock Theater stage has traversed the Carbador to get on stage.
So Nick, did you know that? Nick Diffatte, did you know that?
No, I was brought in the back.
Yeah, my dressing room is still in the garage.
Yeah, mine's still the broom closet under the stairs, but that's also where I sleep. So
thanks, Michael Carbonaro, because thank you.
Thanks for the broom closet space.
Yeah, thanks, dude. I'm glad you get to use the Carbo door. Narrow Carbo.
It is really hot out.
Well, when's the last time, Rudy, you had a chance to go and see the Peacock Theater?
The reason I actually made it to the Peacock Theater is because
what are you doing, man?
Huh? What
are you doing, Nick?
Nothing.
He's hot.
It's just hot.
I'm glad you have.
Why don't you cool off a little bit there, man?
Yeah, I guess Nick replaces Matt King in Vegas for his show. He's his replacement when Matt goes on vacation. So I guess that paid off really well because that's a nice pool.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Very nice.
I have like a few more payments to go, but it's not bad.
Yeah. Good for you, dude. Yeah. Nice. Maybe you can have a carbo corridor or whatever.
The pool.
One day.
I added that to the goal list as a carbo door.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then you can actually, I guess you're saving a lot of money on alcohol.
Yeah.
You're just drinking chocolate milk, and so you can afford
like
that.
What's that thing on your head? Are you in a gang? That's very nice.
A gang of
Yeah,
singers.
wearing colors.
Yeah. Erdnays, MF. Yeah.
Hot.
Let's see, what else? Had a few other comments over here. Lori DeMercurio says, hey, Rudy.
Hey.
Jamie Salinas, Felix Hopkins, Ian Kendall, Chris Prout, Laron, Sean Clark says, what's up, lads? Happy moments. Well, I'm going to massacre this name. Hadikazu Komoto, Matthew Alexander, and Jesus says hello from Japan. And my son's mother-in-law, Pat Yates, is watching. Matt says, hey, Scott. Rolando Medina is watching. Tim Ellis from Australia is watching.
Ellis.
Ian Kendall, hi from Scotland.
Ian Kendall.
Hey, Kendall.
Sean and Sean Clark, hello from Ontario, Canada. And yeah, Crystal Paget says hello from Australia.
Wow.
And Chris Prout says hello from Detroit. I guess actually Tim Mello says good day. Ian Fernand from India. Elliot Hitchcock, let's see, was referring both, I guess, stories that he wanted to hear. Susan Lewin said hello, Ian Kendall. Jamie Salinas says welcome to the summers in Texas, Nick.
Yeah.
So it sounds like Las Vegas there, actually. Then
Nick
Mark Pepperly is watching. Bruce Sinclair, John Gaspard, and Nick DeFont's even watching. Elliot said, this is great. Thank you, guys. And let's see. Paul Bradpiece says, hey, Nick. Justin Tieman's watching. Hey, Justin. Mike Edwards, Chattanooga, Tennessee, in the house. Silverio Mori, I guess. Anyhow, just a bunch of people hello, and they're chiming in. I wanted to recognize them and see if there were any questions or something that they had over there. So, Rudy, what else have you been working on of late as far as helping to make you an international star of magic?
Well, with COVID, you want to keep yourself busy. So this is not anything we got prepared, but it's like I've tried to learn how to do some things that I never had a chance to do before. So this is, I did all of this great Lego, and the great thing is I never had a chance to do Lego before. That's the Millennium Falcon. That's this is a full roller coaster that works. And I never had a chance before. But the great thing is that the government gave me like $20,000, so I actually paid for the Lego, and I think I need some more. So hopefully they're going to give us another thing. But no, we with Randy
Buy a lot of Lego with 20,000.
Yeah. Well, that's actually I think it. I think I still owe some money on that one. It's expensive, but the great thing. What Randy doesn't.
That's just for your sunglasses and Vans.
Thank God I get Vans for free. And hi, Crystal Paget, the only actual girl out there, not magician. The funny thing is, a couple weeks ago, we did a show here at the Peacock Theater for Randy for his company Gearbox. Normally would be in Los Angeles at the big video game convention called E3. So we actually had to perform. We did a show on Zoom and a full, a couple hundred people, crazy, big, crazy pressure because it's all, it's a whole different ball game. And we had some of the best acts in the world, like Michael Carbonaro and Eric Chan and Puddles the Clown and et cetera, et cetera. But it was like for the people out there who have been doing Zoom shows, they understand that it's a whole different world, and we're lucky because we have, we had the Peacock Theater to do it in, but it's just a whole different world. Very interesting to see how we're going to, get through this.
I've been watching a
Just
lot.
real quick, that Chris Kenner just asked Nick Diffatte to check behind you. He thought that was a bobcat behind you.
Oh shit. Okay.
There are actual bobcats here, so we got to be careful. You know, it's like, you're right, Nick.
When you say here, where do you mean here?
Well, I mean there, where he is in that pool in Vegas, there are bobcats apparently. So you have to be very careful there.
Right.
Yes.
And they can jump in the pool with you, I guess.
They could jump in the pool because they could. So, Randy, that's a beautiful theater you have.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Nick, that's a beautiful pool that you have.
it really is.
Yeah, Nick, that is very cool. Nice statues and everything. Nice shrubbery back there.
Yeah.
Is that a water fountain? A waterfall that just?
Yeah, no, it's flooding.
Is that a waterfall?
I don't know what's happening. Have a drink, Rudy? I'm almost out of milk.
I don't know. There's a guy in my pool. This is very weird.
I look like a wet rat. This is not...
That's not anything different. So
what's happening
actually,
here?
I like that. I like that Scott is in Houston, which is the most infected place in the world. That's true, right?
Oh,
Well, I got some disinfectant behind me here.
Do you? Oh my God.
Rudy, I see that you seem
Yeah, Rudy, I think you froze up there.
to be frozen, man.
Need to move another part
we
of
can
the
go-
room.
On without him. Hey, Nick Diffatte. Hey, Nick Diffatte, can you hear me? Oh, you know what I think
Nick?
happened?
What?
I think I know what happened. I think the doorbell rang. And the doorbell.
And that's connected to the Wi-Fi?
Yeah, whenever the doorbell rings, their Wi-Fi goes down. I've experienced this before because I think they've ordered some pizza. Nick,
Okay.
there's
Okay.
Nick. Yeah.
Hey, there's
What
Nick.
happened?
Did you just order pizza, Nick?
What's that?
Did you just order some pizza?
I did not. I think that someone may have on the property. It's a big house. I don't know who's in charge of food tonight.
Hey Nick, how many times have you
Anyhow,
performed
I was.
at the Peacock now?
What's that?
How many times have you performed at the Peacock now?
Three or four, I think.
And what's been the worst show that you've had?
Worst show that I've had at the
At the
Peacock.
Yeah, that's right.
All four of them were great. The audiences are always amazing. That's the thing. They're super receptive. Probably the worst one is still on, on my best day. It's still, I don't know how to describe it. The worst show here would be a great show on a quiet cruise ship.
Well, that's not
Is
very
that
fun.
just because of how good the audience is, or the tech that's available there, or you were trying out new material that went pretty well, or what?
Yeah, I mean, the venue is just perfect for that size audience. The crowds are always amazing because the audience is there to see weird variety stuff. Oh, Rudy's back. Is that Rudy?
Back.
The crowds are there.
Oh,
they're
the pizza.
the food is here. That was not me, but the audiences are always amazing. They're down to see weird stuff. Like Neil Hamburger has come here, and just did oddball variety acts, and they're always super receptive to whatever you're going to give them. So I don't know. It's always been fun. I wouldn't say I've had a bad show here.
Yeah. Looks like that Rudy does need some pizza there after all.
Perfect.
I was going to ask you about your lecture notes. Funny then over there, whenever that I was reading that said you've had that in your computer for like about 2 years, and then finally people were kind of kicking butt saying, "Hey, get this out."
Yeah.
So it just sounded like
I think you cut out for a second there, but the file was in my computer for. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Could we get ranch?
Ranch. Yeah.
Ranch. So the file was in my computer for a couple of years. It was lecture notes for, I think, Blackpool 2 years ago. And I pulled out of doing the lecture. I didn't want to do it. And a couple of friends I had sent them to, and then it just escalated into me putting it out as a booklet. And I'm happy that I did, because the reception has been pretty good. So I'm
Yeah, you've had really good feedback on that, good testimonials. Everybody's liked it, and it sold out pretty quickly.
Yep.
And I think that reprint that, or is it still available?
Well, so I because I'm trapped here in the pool and in the broom closet. I have a
There
couple
in
of
Las
copies
Vegas.
left
Yeah.
in Las Vegas, but I obviously don't have access to them right now. But when I do get back, there will be a couple hundred more copies available. But then I probably won't reprint it after that. But I don't know. It's been fun. It's
If I can, I want to say it's usually, there's a lot of lecture notes out there that are filler. This is really good stuff. It surprised me. I didn't know that you had printed them. And I remember you gave me one at MagiFest.
Mm-hmm.
And not only is there really good stuff in there, there's like some great material. There's also some great thinking, and it's super fun to read. So good job, Nick. That was really awesome. Congratulations.
But
thank
whose
you
lecture
for
notes are
letting me
better?
your house.
Next.
Oh, thanks,
Yeah.
Rudy.
Yeah.
Thanks for the pizza.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thanks for the lack of ranch, Rudy. You're great.
Someone had asked over here about what's on the pizza.
This has pepperoni and mushrooms, so
Nice.
this is legit.
Okay. I guess it depends on what part of the country where you are, whether you're in Dallas or Houston or Las Vegas or wherever, but as to what's on there. That's pretty cool. But I had a couple of other guys to see. Dormick Redmond said, if the pizza turns into a dove, I'll be impressed. And Greg Manwaring had said, what's up? Mike Edwards, what is with Rudy and Nick and the food? And so Nick, where's the tricks? Well, they're in the book. That was Sean Clark that asked that. Cormac Redmond said Blackpool was not that good the other year. David Dees watching. Hey, Dave. Mike Edwards said they're eating on Franz Harari's video also. Apparently, Franz got something going on right now, so they're eating over on
We haven't eaten
right now too. Yeah, must be that.
Well, the thing about that is Nick wrote this bit. He also writes all the bits for Franz Harari's show. And so there's going to be some crossover on some material because, when you have one writer doing all the work.
Little
crossover.
crossover. Yeah, that's true. Oh, I don't have any pizza, but I got a little bit extra martini I'm going to pour over here. But yeah, I did have a lot of really good ideas, and there were some things, in fact, I was just talking with Boris Wilde on a Skype call today for a future episode on the podcast. And one of the things we were talking about was something that I had read in your book that, of course, was, talking about being original and trying not to do something that everyone else is doing. It was kind of interesting, for an example, that he was saying that he was seeing what other magicians were doing. This was when he created the Kiss Act back in the late 90s, that there were people who were very funny comedy magicians, and but they couldn't necessarily remember their name. They remembered just that they were funny, the people had a good time, but it wasn't necessarily mysterious. So he took a completely different angle and decided to add some music, which back in the late 90s, close-up and music did not go together. And he's got an interesting story about that too. But he was saying that he wanted to add some emotion to it. And so, so he added some emotion, so this way that people would start to cry. Now, I know that Penn Jillette has said in the past that it's important to kind of cross that fourth wall by actually relating to what the audience thinks and their emotions and making an emotional contact, with the audience. And so you can be funny, but it should also be something in which that they can relate to because they have a communal experience, if you will, kind of a thing.
Sure.
So
very cool.
And the point was that you had some of that you were saying in your lecture notes then as well. Plus you got 3 really good tricks, in there. Love the thing. Well, they were all really like the bank night idea. And you're right, as far as the bank night idea is always at the end that, hey, hey, you lost and you're a loser. But the way that you asked was that completely different. I loved it. Loved it.
Thanks. It's fun. It's a
and
weird
so, Rudy, so I was wanted to ask you also. Now I know that, speaking of Franz Ferrari, that he had been doing the thing over in Macau, and the Magic Casino has long closed. But you were over there for a year, or how long were you there?
I was booked for 3 months in Macau. 3 months, just 3 months. And, yeah.
Oh, is that all? Okay. No,
yeah, just 3 months, and it was fun.
Because Bruce Gold was booking that, as I recall, and I thought it was for a longer period than that.
No, it was for 3 months at a time, and I was booked to be the first person there, and then it got delayed 2 months, and then so I only had 1 month of test shows, and then I was there for the opening, and then I was only there for 4 days for the actual public, and they paid me for 3 months. So thank you, Chinese producers. But yeah, that was a fun gig. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And so why did that eventually close?
You would
Was
have
it just the investors?
I couldn't tell you. It was they were trying to do like a Magic Castle like a Magic Castle kind of thing. And it's very hard to do a Magic Castle kind of thing. That's all that means. It's very hard. It's hard to catch lightning in a bottle, you know? So I don't know. I was only there I was the first one booked there, and I was there for.
Franz might know.
You know.
We should all go on his show. We can ask him.
Yes, that's right.
We can merge shows.
Let's all go over there.
Let's merge it.
You eat some food.
And enjoy his pizza then as well.
We got
over there.
We had a lot of friends that worked it. I've heard a lot of stories about it, and it was both amazing and like not one of a kind, like totally unlike any other kind of thing. One of the things I think Simon Cornell was talking to me about, how what was interesting for him is that the audience spoke a lot of different languages.
Yeah,
it wasn't just one. So if you had a talking act, you had to kind of figure out which way were you going to play it. Now Simon speaks Mandarin Chinese, so
Oh wow.
Yeah, so he was able to do some of it in Mandarin and some of it in English, and use both languages to his advantage there, and get most of the audience that way. But
yeah,
that's
same here. I was hired to do talking material for the last couple times I've been to China. So I had to, you know, and you don't know, you have to do the jokes in Mandarin and Chinese and English to see what the audience even is. You know, it's a big challenge.
How'd that work out?
For me, I love it. It's a great challenge. You know, before all this happened, it was the greatest. You know, I mean, they're the ones that have all the money, so it was good.
Rudy, your last tour of China was like was it 4 months or 6 months or how long?
Yeah, 5 months. Yeah,
5 months. Yeah, that was. We missed you, man. You were over there for a while. You and it was you and Juliana Chen, and who else was with you on that?
Yeah, I was doing a show. It was with Ed Alonzo, but we did 50 different cities, and they were the best theaters I've ever been in, as good as like the Kodak Theater in LA, you know, like where they had the Oscars. I mean, they have the best theater, and in Vegas right now, there's a new casino that's opening up, and they did a preview on July 4th, and people were blown away because the whole side of the building, this big new casino, was a video wall and had incredible video animation. So even though they had like crazy fireworks on 4th of July, this building was impressing people more. And in China now, every single city, even small cities, all the skyscrapers have video walls on them, and they're all coordinated, you know? So even though it's, you know, communism, it's pretty high end compared to what it was 10 or 15 years ago. Very interesting.
Now, is that the thing that Mike Miller had put together?
No, that's a totally different thing. This is but similar theater, similar. And it's just funny now, China is keeping us out. Like Texas is, you know, where now you can, you know, Randy and Nick are literally 50 feet either way. That's why I can run either, you know, and Randy and Christy were so kind because they invited Nick and I to quarantine with them. So I came in around April 1st, and Nick came a couple weeks after, like April 23rd or whatever. But we've been here months and months. And I was supposed to go to Europe. I had gigs in Europe. I could have, and now they won't let us even leave Texas because it's the most dangerous place on earth, you know, especially Houston. So thanks, Scott.
Well, that's right. Yeah, like you're welcome. That's why I'm trying to stay quarantined in here and doing this Zoom meeting because, yeah, Houston is a major hotspot. This is the new New York. You know, basically, New York was the epicenter. Now it seems like Houston is with all the beds filled with people
it's amazing,
who are
Randy,
ill. You know, then right now.
Randy was the one. He basically stayed inside for months and months and months because he did all his business from his office. And like, you know, Nick and I would shoot out to grab, you know, groceries or whatever. But Randy was, you know, he was the quarantine king. You know,
I'm afraid of people. I'm also really comfortable spending huge amounts of time alone. I can do that.
Yeah.
Not everyone can do that.
Yeah.
It helps if you have a nice
Well,
theater.
Nick, well, yeah, it does. Nick, are you doing a lot of writing since you've got some time? Are you doing some more script writing or working on jokes and things all the time?
Yeah, I think there was a lot more writing towards the beginning of quarantine, I think, because it was like, okay, I've got time. I'm going to sit down and crank stuff out. And then, I don't know, I think it comes in waves with something like this because you know, you're sitting inside and you go, when is the next time I'm even going to be able to do this stuff? You know, if you write a joke and you're doing 5 shows a week, it's, you know, it feels like you're actually being productive and you can put it in front of an audience and test it out. But right now it's like you're writing stuff that might be used 8-10 months from now. Who knows? So
You did learn a new skill though.
You did.
Yeah, I did. I learned plate spinning, which has been a whole
Plate
thing.
spinning. Well, there's something that is an old circus act that you don't see too often nowadays.
No,
Yeah.
at Rudy's suggestion, he made good points and I learned it. So
Yeah.
we'll see what it turns into.
I think I have your rig. Let me see.
Yeah.
Randy, let's see you do it.
We may see an example of that right now. So what good points, Rudy, did you bring up? I mean, why plate spinning? Okay, here we go.
Well, you know, honestly, it's like the great thing about, you know, it's like I feel bad because well, I don't feel bad, but right at the beginning of quarantine, I've been very good with quarantine too, even in loss. Come on, Randy, you could do it. Trust your feelings. Trust your feelings. You can do it. Do it.
That's real China too.
You can do it. Yeah, you can do it, man. Do it.
We did it.
How hard are my books?
So anyway,
Well, don't
plate spinning is
don't
hard.
quit.
Plate spinning is hard.
It turns out.
No,
I made Nick really.
It's hard and it's real.
I made Nick really rethink his life choices when with the
amazing-
cups and the spoons, and I nailed it on the first. He taught me how to do it. He walked me through all the physics.
It was 3rd or 4th try, but I almost quit.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I did the single spoon. Took me
Right.
3 tries. Then I got it. That was
Yeah.
the hard way. Then I did the easy way on the second try. Or sorry, the easy way I did 3 times. Then the hard way, it took me 2 tries,
Yeah.
single.
Which was
And
just
then I did all 7. Nailed it.
Yeah.
boom. This
Wow.
milk is real hot now.
You know, it's
So
funny.
Randy, you're going to be opening for all these guys later, I guess, at the
Yes,
theater.
yes.
You can do it anytime for sure.
By the way, apparently plate spinning's dangerous.
You just stab yourself with the stick?
Can you see that wound?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I just created this wound
Wow.
on my wrist. I almost flashed my wrists
With a
on an impromptu
Never-
bit. Nick's
That was Nick's idea, actually.
plate spinning swords. Those are sharp, man.
Wow.
very sharp. You're right.
And it's
Magic is dangerous.
It's more dangerous because when you go, we had to go to Home Depot to buy all this stuff. So we had,
Yeah.
The house is,
and we both had to,
I can't go to Home Depot because now look at that opening. You know how much COVID can get in there through that opening?
COVID sized. It's not.
It's just like that's like a funnel for COVID to get in.
yeah,
You could fit like 10 COVIDs stacked through that.
At least like 10 wide.
yeah.
It's rough.
So I hope everybody's taking the opportunity, and this can be very depressing, but you can actually look at the bright side and actually read the books you never read before, or learn talents you haven't learned before. I mean, not to be sappy about it, but that's the only way you can get through this, because otherwise you'll be depressed and but if you turn it into something positive, and Nick is being very humble because he has come up. The great thing that I've had with Zoom, you can do this actually, but the lucky thing is that, Randy's one of my best friends, and I look up to Nick and Randy as creators. So when I was, invited down here, I'm very lucky that I get to spend time with my friends on a real stage, and we've come up with a lot of material. And
for the Peacock show, all the interstitials had original material that was just created here. That was incredible stuff. Like that, those interstitials you guys did was just.
Yeah. I don't know if we can post. I don't know that we could post that show ever, but it's but it was incredible because it was some of the best acts in the world, and like Matt Plendel, the best hula hoop act in the world, and Jay Johnson, who has his own Broadway show. All these great acts. Michael Carbonaro, Puddles the Clown, so many. Tape Fader. Yeah, Michael Rayner. And the great thing was that nobody did just their normal act. They all did something different, it's something updated, and so the creativity is still out there, and and just and obviously if anyone here is kind of bummed, remember your friends are out there and reach out to them. We've been lucky because we have our friends close by, but well,
that was what Nick was saying also, is it's important to try to reach out and try something new, and don't be afraid of stepping outside of the comfort zone, basically. That's one of the things in your lecture notes again. So I do recommend that. By the way, that if people want to get a copy of your lecture notes, Nick, where can they order that?
So the issue is it's going to be a couple months probably. So I have access to them, or at least a month. So when they are available again, I'll put a link up on Facebook,
Instagram or Facebook. Yeah, follow them on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and then. Yeah.
You can be one of the 100 people following me on Twitter. Sorry, I got hacked and started.
My copy is $10 if anybody wants it. You can just write me on Facebook.
That's less than wholesale, so you get a good deal.
Well, mine is signed, so mine's $5.
Mine is not signed. And what's really great?
Wait, is mine signed, Nick? Did you sign mine?
I have no idea. I think Kaufman gave you yours. I wouldn't have given you a copy to make fun of it.
I paid for mine.
Yeah.
Here's actually true advice. It's Randy is the publisher of.
Well, I know that Marietta has them available over at mymagic.com because he had posted that too.
Yep.
Does he?
Here's great.
Yeah. Well, those are bootlegs. You should not. Piece of crap. That's why the mafia took care of it.
I think all the ones here has are signed too.
Yeah.
To do that.
Yeah. But it's funny. Randy is the publisher of Genie magazine, and that's the magazine that it's been published for 60 years, and it was my lifeline every month. And the funny thing is, if you subscribe to Genie magazine, which I had for all my life, but I didn't have it recently because I move all around the world all the time. But for very cheap, you can get a digital subscription of Genie magazine, and it's 60 years of the best material. And Nick will tell you, I've been surprising him with material that I've remembered from and if you just that in COVID, if you go through those issues and really look at the material, it's material that no one else is doing, and you can really make your show better.
One of our hobbies has been when somebody markets like a new magic product, we find that trick that was actually written up like 50 years ago in Genie.
Yeah.
That someone's now repackaged and marketed as if it's a new idea.
Yeah.
And they're making money off of it.
Already in quarantine. It's amazing.
Yep. Yeah. It's amazing.
Insane.
If with the digital thing too, one of the other things, it's not only it's 80 plus years of Genie. We also have the entire catalog of Magic magazine.
It's incredible.
Incredible.
And it's all searchable. So like
as a subscriber, you get the full access digitally to the entire back catalog.
So you can search, and there's so much great material.
And by the way, just so you guys,
just real quickly,
this is not a profit exercise for me.
Yeah.
I don't make any money off of it.
No, it's magic.
I spend money on Genie because I think it's a really valuable resource for the magic community.
Yep.
Well, thank you for what you've done on that. That's for sure. You know, I know that you have helped right now in a time that we've seen the print media kind of go down and having problems with advertising when they're going digital and everything. And so for you to back that up financially, you've done a lot for the magic community there for now and generations in the future with what people can learn from current and past issues, plus those that Rick continues to work on. So he can really put his focus on the editorial.
Yeah, and
that. So that's great.
I've been asked
why.
Thank you
For doing that.
Sometimes I have really.
Quickly, I wanted to point out. And
why do you do it, Randy?
Says,
I have all kinds of bullshit reasons why I do it.
But why really? Because
the real reason is because I promised Irene I'd take care of it.
That's fantastic.
And then she died. So
yeah.
But I mean, she's the greatest person in the world. Irene was one of my absolute favorite people, and yeah, I mean, yeah, like Scott said, print has been under siege, you know, and Genie's an important institution and it needs support. So I committed to it and I stepped up and I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, and you have $35 and $35 and you get a searchable index of everything in Genie for 80 years and the entire Magic Magazine index also from Stan Allen, which was like all combined. So and I didn't have that. I wasn't subscribing because I didn't have anywhere for the physical issues, but you don't need to subscribe physically to get it. And it's just tens of thousands of pages. It's an incredible thing, you know.
Please subscribe so that we, Rudy and I, can continue to eat and live in this.
and live there at Randy's place.
Yeah, just 35.
Hey, Nick.
2 grown adults.
Yeah.
He's got 2 new sons. Nick,
I'm losing you, Scott.
I like
the way that Ryan.
Robo Scott.
I know it's Robo Scott.
Nick's question regarding your notes said he didn't know that you could write. Saying Nick, right? At least like I was watching.
I have.
Daniels is watching. What?
Who said that?
What's that?
Who said that?
Scott, you were
that was Ryan Plunkett.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Ryan Plunkett.
Yeah, I can't write, but I know a lot of people who can edit, and they added in a lot of words, so it worked out okay.
She's being,
and by the way, then Randy, that Paul Kozak says my dream is to be the first nude cover of Genie magazine.
We all can dream.
Yeah, we both.
And he said, "Thanks for your stewardship to Magic Cannon." Also,
I
think that a few of us are kind of freezing up here.
Right? First nude cover.
Yes, I think that's what he said.
I think
first. Yes.
Kozak, you stop
side deal with Vinny.
Come on, dude. I don't know if that's going to happen.
And like, if the wind blows up his sarong the wrong way, then maybe.
Well, good. It's in Hawaii. They have a lot of the black sand beaches, so maybe.
Yeah.
And we want to thank
Ian Kendall was saying.
Ian.
Yeah, Ian was just saying I enjoyed writing Magic Cannon for a couple of years, and Paul Kozak again was saying thank for your stewardship on Magic Cannon, Ian. So I know different people have contributed to that too.
Ian, great. Yeah, it's literally the ultimate magic course for anybody that you know. It's incredible. Highest recommendation. And thank you, Scott, for providing a place for us to come and become alcoholics instead of being productive during COVID.
Yeah.
Because normally we would be creating magic for.
Well, you're welcome. I think we're probably going to start to wrap this up over here. That
Keep losing Scott.
I know.
I'm sorry. To keep locking up on you also.
Yeah, we keep losing you, but I could just interview Nick.
Right? Yeah. I could swim
Who
again.
are you wearing? Who are you wearing?
110 outside.
I really enjoy that. Yeah.
This whole thing. Saints.
Best cruise ship you've ever worked on, Nick.
Disney Wonder. Probably.
Okay.
Okay.
I like the Disney ships.
Yeah. Which one was the best experience? Not necessarily the best ship, but the best like working with the staff or the crowds.
I love Holland America. I've worked. My first contract ever was with Holland America on the Amsterdam, and it was like 2 weeks. It started as a couple weeks, and then got extended into 5 months. So I got to know everybody, and
Wow.
make a lot of cool friends, and be able to experiment more in the theater and like install stuff. I had a balloon drop that was just a kabuki curtain thing that just dropped one balloon that was installed for the whole run. Like a lot of weird stuff, and get to experiment when you're there that long. So yeah, it's
That's
fun.
cool.
Met cool
All right.
people. Is
Someday
Scott-
we'll get to do
been a
cruise
while?
ships again. Sorry about your career with the COVID.
I thought I'd at least have colleges or comedy clubs, but nope.
Yeah, have changed a lot, and as well as, theaters as to how many people are going to be seating in your theater and everything then too.
Yeah.
Randy, before we close over here, can you tell me when do you think that the theater might reopen?
Well, I don't think it's easy to pick a time. I think it's about the criteria that defines when we're safe. I want to see some combination of vaccination and herd immunity make it so that we don't have to worry about infecting each other and becoming infected. I think that I'm hopeful that we've got to be getting closer to, and it doesn't only have to be vaccines. We're getting better at treatment, but we also have to admit that we don't know the long-term effects of this particular virus yet. And there's people that have gotten over it but have follow-on effects. And so we have to be very respectful. And I take a science-based approach on everything. So for my part, I'm going to let science lead it.
Right.
And I want to feel like it's a safe thing to do when we finally do it. And no one wants to get started faster than I do. I can't wait. It's like I've committed my entire life to entertainment and to that experience of the creation of joy and happiness for audiences. And it's the worst tragedy in the world that we have to be blocked from that interaction that we get with where entertainers can bring that to audiences that are desperate for it and need it. And I can't wait for us to get past that. I literally, and I wish it was yesterday, but if we're smart, we'll make sure that we're safe when we do it, because the only thing that hurts worse than not being able to bring joy and happiness to people that need it is to feel that we've brought despair and pain and suffering to people that didn't deserve it. And that's one of the consequences that this virus can have. So we all have to do our part.
That's true. And you don't want to put not only the audiences, but also the performers in jeopardy as well. So
That's right.
There you go. Rudy, if it wasn't for your hair, we wouldn't know who you were.
That's actually not Rudy. That's one of his heads.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Listen, thank you guys very much. I appreciate you being on here tonight, despite some of the glitchy issues or whatever. And I'm glad you could all kind of be together. We can be together, united again here. That's great. Next week, it's going to be some fun also. We're going to be having Nick Lewin to join us,
Nice.
as well as Trixie Bond, and then from Colon, Michigan, John Sterlini, talking a little bit about the Abbott's Get Together non-convention, that he's got something kind of that they're going to be doing, up there then as well. And we've got some other surprises in future weeks then as well. So stay tuned then next week, and we'll try to get a better feed then also. In fact, I think I might be in up near Austin.
Oh, of course.
Maybe where we with Trixie, where we might have a better feed up there then too on their internet. Thank you guys. Thank you, Randy, very much for all that you have done. I guess.
Spend time with us.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Thanks, God. See you around.
Stay safe.
Thanks, Rudy. Thanks
Bye.
a lot, then, Nick.
Easy.
Take
Cheers.
care. Next time, this is Scotty out. Cheers.
Cheers.
There we go.